everyone, and welcome to today's episode. I'm very excited because I have an author chat to share with you with the lovely Stephanie Mack. So, we're talking about her book, 20 Something Else. So, this is a new release, it's contemporary fiction, fits within the Christian fiction category, and it has women's fiction and magical realism story elements. So I've recorded episode 70 on the book where I've talked about the book. And in our interview, we're going to do a deep dive into the book and chat more about and answer some of the questions I have. And it'll be a lot of fun. So we're going to do a deeper dive into the story. And so if you haven't listened to episode 70, you can pause and go back and catch up on that episode. Otherwise, stay tuned. And I have a paperback giveaway that I'm also very excited about that I'll tell you more about at the end of the episode. So here's our author chat with Stephanie Mack. Welcome, Stephanie Mack.
Thank you so much for having me. I am thrilled to be here with you, Narelle.
Oh, I'm so excited that you're here with me as well. That's so fun because I loved your book and I'm so looking forward to talking about it. But first of all, I'm going to start by reading your bio. So
Okay.
here we go. Stephanie Mack is an author, speaker, and podcast host with a passion for the art of great storytelling. Her novels blend women's fiction and romantic elements with meaningful insights for readers, navigating the complexities of modern life. Throughout her career, Stephanie has been trusted to craft language for individuals, publications, and Fortune 500 companies. As a podcast host, she has interviewed numerous New York Times best-selling authors and literary stars. Stephanie's work has also appeared on Scary Mummy, Faith It, Coffee and Crumbs, and more. Stephanie lives in Orange County, California, with her husband and three daughters, balancing motherhood, creativity, and community. She invites readers to connect with her on social media and through her newsletter, where she shares book recommendations, behind the scenes insights, and conversations about life and womanhood. Yes, so it's so good to have you here, Stephanie. And so we'll start with a few icebreaker questions. And this is the first one I always ask a guest that I haven't had on the show before is, have you visited Australia?
No, and let me tell you, it is high on my bucket list. I am dying to go, and so are my three daughters. I can't
Yes.
wait for the day I get to see the beauty.
Yes, I do live in a beautiful country. We're very spoiled. Soon I'm going to be heading up to Sydney and going out through the head, so out of Sydney Harbour whale watching. So I'm really
Oh,
excited about that. I've never
how
done whale watching.
exciting. So I am a runner. I run marathons and I am on a quest to run all of the world majors. And Sydney
Hmm.
was pretty recently added to the docket. So that's sort of on my
Yeah.
future wish list to come run the marathon. It's usually in August, which I think is winter there, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of like LA though. So it's Sydney is a
Okay.
bit
Okay.
milder. So we
Okay.
have the marathon. We also have the fun run, the City to Surf. Have you heard of
Oh, I
that?
have not. That sounds fun. I love the sound of that too.
Yeah, it's a big charity thing. It's been going for years. My husband used to run it
Oh,
when he was a teenager, and we're ancient now, so it's
so
been going for a
fun.
long time. Yeah, so
Oh,
there's
that's so
lots.
neat.
Yeah. There's lots of amazing running things you can do in Australia, not just in
Oh,
Sydney, but in other places as well. So I hope you
oh,
get to visit Australia soon.
me
And
too.
so let's start talk about your part of the world. So if you'd like to
Yes.
share with our listeners a fun fact from either where you live and the area you're in your region, or from your book setting.
That's a great question. And it's fun because they tie together. I was born and raised here in Southern California. I actually live in the same county, Orange County, where I was born and raised. And I have lived here except for my 4 years in college, which was in Los Angeles, just 45 minutes away. So I can't even tell you how many times we almost moved either across the country or up to Northern California. And we just ended up being pulled back here. So it's home. And because I love it so much, and I started writing fiction back in 2019, there just is not a lot of fiction set in Southern California that I have encountered. And I just was brimming with inspiration all the time and ideas to set books here. So 20 something else is in fact anchored in Southern California, Orange County, where Sutton also lives. She ends up time hopping and traveling all over the world, which was also really fun. But her home
Mm.
base is here in Orange County. I live 15 minutes from the beautiful beach. We are incredibly spoiled also with the beauty here. I mean, the cliffs, running, walking them. It's jaw-droppingly beautiful, and I am never tired of it. So yeah, where I live is also where I set my books, and you definitely get a taste of that in 20 something else.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I mean, my idea of Orange County is watching the OC many moons ago,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah,
set
it's
in
so
Newport.
funny. Yes. And it's funny because the OC, the Real Housewives show, there are enough shows. There's a real estate one now. There are enough that kind of give a taste. They definitely play up all the drama for sure. That is not my reality. However, the beauty of it all, the great food, and just all of the B-roll and the shots of the coast, it's all real. It really does look like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And the
a
weather.
wonderful place to live. And the weather. So, I mean, it's perfect all year. And I work mostly with people all over the US and not here. And anywhere but here will have a good roll of seasons. And we're just kind of always 75 and sunny, you know? So
Yes.
yeah, it's a blessing. And we
Yeah.
have deep roots here. So we'll probably be here forever, but I never say never. So
True. You never know what God
yeah,
has planned, do you? As I,
absolutely.
I sit here freezing in Canberra. Actually, it's
Oh
not
my
too
gosh.
bad. We haven't got to freezing at night at the time of
Oh
recording
my
this, which is good.
goodness. Oh,
Yes. But I do like warm weather for holidays and a treat and to go on vacation.
yeah,
So,
same.
yes. So we're talking about your book, 20 something else. So if you'd like to share with our listeners and tell us about your lovely book, please.
Yes, of course. 20 something else follows our heroine, Sutton, who is on the cusp of her 40th birthday. And as she is approaching 40, suddenly she is feeling a little bit panicky about her life, the meaning of it, the choices she has made, and she shares a lot of similarities with myself. So, in a lot of ways, this was my own turning 40 book. I just turned 40 in November, and I wrote this book when I was 38. So, even though she took on a whole life of her own, and my goodness is definitely not me, there are so many things about her core that were launched from my own heart and my own place in life at the time.
Yeah.
So, she is feeling this unrest. And like myself, she got married really young in her early 20s, had a family young, and she's so thankful for all that she has, but she's feeling a little bit of panic. Like, did I miss out? Did I grow up too quickly? Did I miss my big adventure? So she is playing in a pickleball tournament for her birthday, and she gets knocked out and wakes up with the divine chance to go back, relive her 20s in a world where she never met her husband. So she is single and has the chance to hop through those 20s out of order, choosing a year based on a clue. And she's in charge this time and just gets to really hop around is the word. And it was so much fun to write because she has many experiences that she never had in her married young family life. And it was a blast to write. And through the journey, you get to travel with her and her heart and her mind and the different friendships and relationships she has and discover what Sutton really wants. Is it being young again, or is it what she already has? So asking that question of both myself and her through writing this story was so meaningful and special because of where I was at in my own life with my own 40th birthday.
Yeah, I just love traveling with Sutton. It was so
Oh,
fun.
I'm
She's
so glad.
such a fascinating and layered character. So I do have a
Mm,
few questions
of
and
course.
let's talk about the book, but we're going to talk
Yeah.
about it in a way that doesn't give away spoilers, which
Love
can
it.
be a bit tricky, but
It
we don't want to
can.
give,
Yes.
yeah, we don't want to accidentally spoil the story. So firstly,
Totally.
let's talk about the milestone birthday because I
Hmm.
know I've already passed the 50 milestone, so 40 was a while ago,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
40 is quite a big birthday.
Yeah.
And I think the year I turned 40 was when I first signed my 6 book contract that I
Oh,
had for my own book.
wow.
So I started
Wow.
publishing at 40.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We have that in common then, because this is the
Yes.
year it all happened for me. I mean, God's timing is amazing and wild. And I'm 40 and I got a 4 book deal, and now is when it's happening. So, yeah. Wow. I
Yes.
love that we share that.
We do. So 40s are fabulous. 50s are
Yeah.
also good too. I'm not going to complain about being
Yeah.
in my 50s, but I did enjoy my 40s. So at
Yeah.
the start of the story, as you were saying, Sutton, she's days away from her 40th birthday, and
Hmm.
she really has mixed feelings about turning 40, which I think
Yeah.
is so relatable and so normal. So
Yeah.
my question is, why is Sutton feeling frustrated and discontent with her life that looks almost perfect from the outside? So this is in the
Mm.
opening chapters before she starts traveling back to her 20s.
Yeah. What I love about Sutton and her life, and granted, this is very relatable, especially to where I live in Southern California or any pocket where on the surface it looks like people have it all together and would have no unrest, nothing to complain about. And on paper, Sutton does have this long marriage. She has a career, she has the 3 kids and the whole thing, but like inside, it's not feeling like she feels like it should, given that all her dreams have come true, and she feels frazzled and she's weary, and she just has this little inkling of like, wow, kind of, this is it, this is wonderful, but oh my goodness. So I like that about her. I think that it can be, I don't know, difficult sometimes for people to be like, what does she have to complain about? But I'm like, I just feel like any book or story, it's just the story of anybody who has it all on paper but feels this quiet discontent. That's interesting to me. Why aren't those things making you happy then? You know, why you
Mm.
had all the stuff? Why aren't you happy? I loved digging into that. So I think her marriage is something that's going on 2 decades now, and there's some real frustration there. They've kind of lost that deep connection, which is so relatable to anybody who's been married for, I mean, maybe more than 5 years. Like it's so easy without effort to slip into being roommates. So I would say her marriage is a place where, they're not in disaster zone, but it's not feeling good. And she's just like feeling unseen and unloved in the ways that she needs to be loved. And then motherhood just has her tired out. She's got a teenager. She is missing the mark with him. He says, I hate you in the first chapter, which feels really harsh, but that's also something, unfortunately, that's relatable to a lot of mothers. It's not
Mm.
that your kid means that always, but she's just like, feeling life hitting her. And I think the thing about 40 that I felt and feel that she also feels is like you still are young, but you're not the youngest girl in the room anymore. And it sort of hits you. You're like, oh, she's trying to get this job. I won't give spoilers, but like she's like, oh my gosh, kind of until now, I felt like the young one, and there are now these younger 20 somethings. So
Mm.
I think it's a little bit of all of that. It's kind of pressing into, she has the job, she has the marriage, but like, let's peel back the layers. Just because you have these things on paper doesn't mean that you're feeling awesome. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
that's so true. And I think, I don't know, I look back and I think my 30s flew by so quickly.
Yeah.
So my kids, I had one in my late 20s, one in my early 30s, my two
Okay.
kids who are
Similar.
now,
Yeah.
yep, they're now young adults now in their
Hmm.
20s. But that whole sort of early sort of kid stage just went flying past. It was really slow
Yeah.
when they were babies. And then once
Hmm.
they get to school age, everything just
Yeah.
accelerates and
Yeah.
suddenly your life is flying by. And so that
Yeah.
was just so relatable. And you're absolutely right. No one has a perfect life. There's always
Yeah.
something going on beneath the surface. And that's what was so fun about this story is we get to dig and find
Mm.
out what's really going on with Sutton and what makes her tick. Which
Hmm.
brings me to my next question. So we're still going to talk about the ordinary world because the story is in Orange County, although
Yeah.
we do move into Los Angeles at different times. And is Orange
Hmm.
County, is it kind of like you're part of LA or are you separate? I always get confused in
It's
Australia.
no, it's so confusing if you're not from here. I would say, call it an hour away, like heart of Orange County to
Yeah.
heart of LA. County line to county line, it can be as quick as 30 minutes, but they are really different worlds. I mean, I've lived
Yeah.
in both, and LA is the big, loud, crazy city, and it's not walkable like New York. A lot of people who've never been don't quite grasp that, which I get. Why would you? But it has a downtown that looks
Mm.
like New York, but that's very small. And it's not somewhere where people exist in a live, work, walk life like they do in New York
Mm.
City. And there's New York, or there's downtown Los Angeles. So it's like downtown. Then there's Pasadena, then Santa
Yeah.
Monica, then Beverly Hills,
Yeah.
and everything in traffic, even within LA, is like a 45-minute drive. So Orange County is sort of this hour south of LA, sunshiny bubble that is still pretty fast paced and has some LA energy, but it's a lot slower, a lot less traffic, really
Yeah.
tucked right next to the beach. So it feels very beachy. So yeah, there is a
Yeah.
distinction for sure.
Yeah, so it's more suburban. So she's
Yeah.
in Orange County, but she has LA and Hollywood and show business, and all
Yeah.
of that is all happening next door to her. And she
Mm-hmm.
works within the LA region as well. And
Yeah.
so, how does Hollywood and all of that sort of glamour and show business, all of that world influence how people perceive aging and beauty? And
Oh
I'll go a
yeah.
step further and say, how does it actually affect Sutton in the story? Because she
Yeah.
can't avoid leaving Orange County. She can't stay in her little bubble. She has to go to LA for
Yeah.
work and different things.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so real here and intense in Orange County and LA, I think. It's interesting though. I was talking to some gals on another podcast a couple weeks ago because this is just my world and my reality, but of course I travel other places and I'm aware, but like you only know your lived reality. So they were in different pockets in the US, but like bigger cities. And one girl in particular is in North Carolina in a big part and very posh. And she's like, it's the same here. Like the plastic surgery and all of that is very real there. So I'm like, this does exist, but LA and Orange County, you can't get around. It's concentrated and it's what you see in the magazines of Hollywood and the red carpet and all of that. So I think that that does influence Sutton quite a bit. And I think she totally has a warped view of herself. And I think maybe she always has not loved herself enough. And that's part of her journey. As we travel back with her into her 20s, you see that even in her 20s, she's looking at her 20-year-old body being like, oh my gosh, like you look amazing. I didn't love you enough. And I can maybe do that now. But is she really loving herself kindly in
Yeah.
the present? I think through it all, she's really able to untangle some of that
Yeah.
and then kind of digging into what really matters. Like as she goes to these different places, she's in Nicaragua doing service work. She's, just going to New York City and she's just experiencing these different places where she's not focused on that. I think it really takes her out of that sort of obsession that can come
Yeah.
with just like living here. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
that part of the shows and the stereotype of both
Yeah.
LA and then it trickles down. We're just south of like it trickles. It's here
Yeah.
too. So yeah. And I love taking her on a journey where she is influenced by her mom, who has chosen to age naturally. I won't give any spoilers, but I really loved writing that because her mom is
Yes.
this like naturally beautiful woman, inside and out, who is just, kind of reminding her again what's most important.
Yeah. Oh, I loved her mum. It was some
Oh, I'm
very
so glad.
insightful conversations that she has with her mum when
Mm,
she goes back. It's was very interesting. But I think I grew up on the northern beaches in Sydney in very much a
okay.
beach culture, and I've
Okay.
raised my children in Canberra, so we're an hour
Yeah.
and a half inland. We're the equivalent to DC, but we're a lot
Yeah.
smaller. Our population's under 500,000, so we're kind of like a big country town
Yeah.
capital city or a smaller
Yeah.
city. And the pressure in terms of the body image, I mean, you would think with my children now, it would be worse in this generation with social media. But in many
Yeah.
ways, I think it was worse when where I live because of the beach.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Makes so
think that
much sense.
culture.
And growing up, like even my 13-year-old and my 11-year-old, it's very important to me. I work very hard to
Yeah,
instill healthy body image in them, but we live at the beach in the summer. So everyone is kind of in their bathing suit all the time. So yes, I think with that can certainly come that just pressure so
yeah,
easily. Yeah.
yeah. And that pressure to always look young, it's
Yeah.
so damaging for people
I
that
know. I
it's
know.
and it's sad. It's really
It
sad
is.
that
And aging
yeah,
is so beautiful. Like it's such a
yeah,
privilege and it's so interesting. It's so
yeah,
interesting to see a woman travel through her own life and years. And
yeah,
I loved
yeah,
writing that element
yeah,
of it.
yeah. It was very good. I really enjoyed it.
I'm so
So
glad.
now we're going to talk about the magical realism in the story, which I
Yes.
loved.
I'm so
So
glad.
Yeah, so I loved how the story explores so many what ifs when she goes back to
Mm-hmm.
her 20s, including Sutton's life in her 20s if she'd never met a husband and married her children, which is such a fascinating concept because I also was married young in my early 20s, although
Yeah.
I didn't have children until my later 20s.
Yeah.
And I look back and I would never change that decision to marry my husband at all. But I
Yeah.
just can't imagine living my 20s without him in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
it was really, as a reader, it was a really fascinating journey.
Yeah.
And while I was reading, I was also thinking about how it would have been helpful when I was younger to actually know what I know now about certain people because Sutton
Mm-hmm.
went back to her 20s with the knowledge of her 39-year-old self. And
Yeah.
so, how helpful it would have been to clearly see the lies that people were telling and then know to actually walk away sooner from those toxic relationships.
Yeah.
So, my questions, I've got a couple of questions on this is how
Yeah.
did Sutton cope with the character who we'll call the narcissist? And we
Yeah.
aren't naming this person because if we name this person, we spoil the story and we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And my question on top of that is what did Sutton learn by reliving a different version of her history with this person, which was
Yeah.
fascinating?
Yeah. Oh, well, we can call him a he. He was very fascinating to write. And unfortunately, he is based on what I would call an amalgamation of different men my friends have dated and I have seen and encountered in the world too often. And I think that the effect of these types of people is that even if, she's not thinking about him in her daily normal life. Like that is not, she's committed to her husband and her kids. But when people like that come back out of the woodwork, whether that's a friend or a romantic person, it can instantly just mess with you from what I've seen. So Quinn being such a good friend to be like a block, but you can see, which she does, she even as her like 40-year-old wise self, he just gets back in there. So even though she's aware, that's the problem again with these people. Even if you're consciously aware, they can be so romantic and seductive in the sense of just charm. And it's like she knows, but for a minute she lets herself not care. But she always knows better, but she doesn't. So it's sort of that dance that I've seen play out. And I know you have experience with these types of people too. So I hope that I did it justice, but I wanted to just be honest about the complexity of a person like this and their charm and the things that women can fall for, but also how they don't really, oh no, that would be a spoiler. Okay, I'm not going to say what I was just going to say. Their patterns continue and
Yeah. Yeah.
she moved on and had this beautiful life. And then she has the chance to encounter him again in her 20s and kind of play that out. And I
Yeah.
loved how it ended. And yeah, did I answer your question okay?
You did, yes, because these people are just absolute masters at the love bomb.
Yes.
And they're able
Yes.
to this particular person was able to work out exactly how he could charm her to
Uh-huh.
get her to let her defenses down.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, even though she knew with that knowledge as a 39-year-old that this was going to end in tears, that going
Yeah.
down this path, and I loved her best friend.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
going
I'm so
back there as
glad.
well. I'm not going to
Yeah.
say who it is because I don't
Yeah.
want to, I'm
Yeah.
not going to get into the names of the characters,
Yeah.
but there was a particular friend who was really wise to this guy. And I
Yeah.
just, every time she would say something, I'm like cheering for her. It's like, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
loved writing her because like, man, I have been her and it's actually very, very difficult and painful to be that friend to
Hmm.
someone like that and watch them continue those patterns. So also for anyone listening, this is a very light, fun story. And even though I go there, the take on it reads like a fun women's fiction romantic book. And I think that's why I like the way that it turned out is because you're learning while you read this, like what narcissism looks like. You're like, yep, I knew a guy like that once. He's blocked on Instagram for me or my friend. Like, it's still fun. But yeah, I think the friend thing was important because I think that is just, and that's such a red flag when you find yourself not listening to your own friends,
Yes,
situations
yes.
maybe I've been in
Yeah.
my life where that friend is calling me out because she's wise, but maybe I'm not listening. So, yeah. Thanks for loving the
Yes.
best friend because I loved writing her.
Oh, the female friendships. I just love the friendships
Yeah.
in this story and just
Oh,
watching how they developed. And I adored the ending. And I'm not saying any more because I'm not going to spoil it.
yeah.
And yeah, but it was fascinating, the whole concept with this particular character and the way
Yeah.
the hoovering. And it's so real to life. And
Yeah.
people like it's kind I don't know, it's kind of like with these people, we walk away from these toxic people
Yeah.
that there's still a wound or there's
Yeah. Yeah.
still a band-aid because you can't get closure other
Exactly.
than healing from yeah.
I was thinking that as I was talking through that. And that's another like kind of point of it all that like she was never in any universe going to get what she needed or closure from him. She was going to have to find that herself. And I think
Yeah.
but going back to this journey, whatever little crack in the door or like whatever, she got it, but not from him,
Yeah. Yeah.
as you might see as you read. So yeah, very profoundly said.
Yeah, and the healing, it was really interesting. It's really in
Yeah.
terms of how what I loved is how blessed she was to meet her husband when she met him, because
Hmm.
by God bringing her husband into her life at that point in time,
Yeah.
it just completely changed the trajectory of her life. So
I know.
it was beautiful. I just love this
Mm.
story. There's so
I'm
much.
so glad. Thank you so
Yes.
much. And yeah, there's another, I'll just say really quick, another friendship I wrote, and that was one of my best friend's ideas. She's always one of my early readers. Just as I was spitballing ideas about this book, she
Yeah.
was like, what if there's a current friend in her life who she's close to, but they weren't back then? What would that look
Yes.
like? And they're kind of maybe frenemies or like, ugh, not getting along, but they do now. And I'm like, yes, latching on. I
Yeah.
will write that. So
Oh,
love
and
the
I
friend.
love that character as well. There's so
Yeah.
many, as I said, there's so many wonderful side characters in this book as well. There's a
Mm,
lot to love from my
thank
perspective.
you.
So, Stephanie, what would you like to share with our listeners that we haven't covered in our chat so far?
I would just say that what this book taught me is that turning 40 is amazing, first of all. I feel like I was kind of looking at this milestone for a long time, wrote a whole book about it, and I just turned 40 and I genuinely felt the biggest exhale. I celebrated with like girlfriends and I just feel so grateful to be married for almost 20 years and that I did meet my husband at 21.
Mm.
I was just invited to write a magazine article for People magazine, which is totally bucket list for me about I got married at 21, at 40. This is what I know about making love last. And I stand by my age 21 marriage. So many people, you're too young. That's crazy. Like it is the best decision I ever made. I'm not by any means saying it's for everyone, but true love can start at any age. And for me, it was 21 and it's been awesome. So I would say that. And I would also say that I've been on such a journey with my writing career. And it was the wildest, most magical out there book, this one, the Pickleball Magical book that got me my agent and dream deal. And I think that's so incredible and so kind of God because, like, throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. Like, never stop dreaming. And if you have an idea and it feels like maybe it's too crazy, it's probably the one, is something I
Yes.
would tell listeners, creators out there. Cause I sat down and could not stop writing the story. And when you feel that bubbling, that means there's something there.
Mm.
So I'm so honored that the
Yes.
magical realism worked. It's my first time trying that, and I will definitely be trying it again down the line because I had so much fun with it. So I'm
Yes.
just
Mm.
really honored that you loved it and you read it with such intention and paid attention and that it touched you in the ways. It means a lot to me.
It did, and there were some poignant moments. I did shed some tears in this book, and I also
Mm.
laughed and
Oh,
smiled.
I'm so
So
glad.
it
I'm
had
so
all
glad.
the feels from that perspective. And I love the faith elements because
Mm,
they were very organic to the story. And
mm,
I would describe it as strong faith elements because there
yeah.
are a lot of faith elements on the page,
Yeah.
but they all come deep from what's going on with the characters. And I just loved
Yeah.
how you dug deep into not just Sutton, but all the other characters in the story. And we really got to see their journeys and their
Yeah.
journeys with God and what was going on in terms of their faith. And I just love that as well. It
I'm
was so
so
good.
glad. I really loved writing that too. I feel like I want more stories as a reader that feel timely and fun and witty and sparkly, but also reflect my faith beliefs. There just aren't as many as I would like. So those are the kind of books that I want to write that reflect that and are willing to go there. Because for me to access that depth, it's hard for me to do that without weaving in the faith that is organic to my life. So I'm glad you appreciated it.
Oh, absolutely. And please keep writing these books.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
I will. I
definitely.
absolutely will.
Yes. So 20 something else is a June 2026 release and it's releasing tomorrow. Yay, which is so
Yay.
exciting. So where can readers find your book?
Readers can find my book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Target.com, basically anywhere books are sold. I will also say that I am in love with the audiobook. The narrator's name is Christine Lakin. I begged for her because she is so talented in moving between vulnerability and humor, and that was important to this story. So audio, Audible also, and yeah. You can find it anywhere. And you can find me on Instagram. That's the place I hang out the most in terms of social media at Stephanie N. Mack. And I have a website,
Yes.
stephaniemack.com.
And your podcast. I've listened to your podcast. It's really
Oh,
cool.
yeah. It's a
Yes.
lot of fun. It's fun to we dive into a lot of the industry stuff and the writing perspective, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes, well, my audiobook listeners are going to be really happy that you have an audiobook narrator that you
Yes.
love because that's so
Love.
important.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
important too for like my demographic because we have those little kids. We're in carpool line. We're busy. Like it really hits with like that age group. I know we devour them, but all women. Like who
Yeah.
doesn't love an audiobook? So
Yeah, I can't drive, and I've said this before on the podcast. I can't drive and listen to a fiction audiobook because
interesting. You know what? That's probably safe of you, you know?
I
I
see the
mean,
story in my head. I stop seeing
yeah,
the
yeah,
road. I literally
yeah,
don't see the road. It is,
yeah,
if I was on a straight road, I have done it
yeah,
before in the country where there's no traffic around and I'm just driving straight. But
yeah.
as a rule, I can get so absorbed in the story, I don't see what's around me and it's incredibly dangerous. So if I listen to an audiobook, I have to be very intentional in how I read it or
I
how I
think
listen
that's
to it.
really
Yeah.
wise of you. I admittedly have
Yeah.
missed my exit more than one time because I was so involved in my
Yeah.
audiobook. I'm like, oh, missed that. So I totally get it.
So easy to do. So, what do we
Uh-huh.
have coming next from you in terms of upcoming releases? You mentioned a 4 book contract.
Yes. So 20 something else is coming out in June, and November 10th, I have When We Blinked coming out. That is a marriage second chance story that I absolutely love. And then
Hmm.
February 9th, Suing Cinderella, fun fictional story about a girl who gets heartbroken and sues a fictional Disney for making her believe in fairy tales. Maybe
Ah.
falls for the cute defense attorney. And then 1 year from now, I have my fourth new book coming out.
Hmm.
And what I can say is that it's another Southern California book set in Lido Isle here, which is a beautiful, picturesque little island, sort of like Nantucket vibes, but here. And
Hmm.
it is bookish. That's what I will say. It goes there with some bookishness. And I've been wanting
Yeah.
to write sort of a bookish book for a while. So it was a fun one. And that'll be out June 2027.
Excellent. So, just
Yeah.
just in time for summer reading.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Love
Yes.
a
This
summer
is
book.
This is definitely a beach read book.
Yeah.
So I'm so looking forward to reading more books from you. I'm so glad I've discovered you, Stephanie. It's always
Oh.
fun to discover a new author and just adore their book. And so I'm so happy to
Mm.
share this book with my audience as I've loved it. So thank you so much for visiting with us today and sharing from your heart and letting us know a little bit more about the story. It was just so fun.
Course.
Yes.
Oh, it was a delight. It was so lovely to meet you, and I look forward to just keeping in touch. And I'd love to come back or have you on my
Yes.
podcast. It's just always fun to connect with a fellow woman, creative podcaster, believer, and you are
Yes.
all of those things.
Oh, thank you. And you're very welcome. I'm so glad you're able to come here. It's been so fun to chat with you, and I can't wait, as I said, to read more of your books, and particularly this one you've got coming out in the summer next year, which is
Yeah.
winter here. I've got to think
Oh,
this
yeah,
book.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. That's so funny. You'll read it and be transported to the beach
Yes.
in Orange County.
Yes, I love reading summer books when it's windy here. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's
So
so
it's
fun.
been so lovely to chat. So thank you. And we will see you back here next time.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thanks for joining me today for my chat with the lovely Stephanie Mack. And as I mentioned, we have a giveaway, which is a paperback giveaway for a reader with a USA mailing address. And the book giveaway will close on June 25th, 2026, and that's USA West Coast time. And there'll be a link in the show notes to enter the giveaway. So, as always, if you've liked this episode, please don't forget to subscribe. And you can do that at your favorite podcasting app, or you can subscribe at YouTube. And that means you'll get notifications on my future episodes when they drop. And you can also contact me, and you can do that via email at my website where I have a contact form at narelleatkins.com. And if you're listening on the podcast, you can send me a text via a link in the show notes. If you're watching at YouTube, you can like the episode at YouTube and also leave a comment at YouTube. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please share the link with a friend, especially a friend who you think would enjoy reading Stephanie's books, and a friend that likes reading contemporary fiction that has women's fiction and magical realism story elements. So thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.